Hello everyone, it's Dawn. I'm back again, and today we're going to be doing our second project in our series from PAPERCRAFT Society Box 36. And this time we're going to attempt to make a lantern. I say attempt because I've never actually done it this way before. I haven't even tried it out. I've done all the measurements. I think I've worked it all out, but I'm not quite sure how it's going to go, so we'll see. So you will need 2 pieces of the vellum paper or parchment paper that came in the kit. And what we're going to do, I'm not going to do it with this one because I've already done it with the other 2, and I'll show you why in just a second. I'm going to use runner tape because I didn't want it to move. Glue might go through it. So I've used a runner tape, and what I've done is I've just run down there a couple of strips, and then what I did, I just put that over there and stuck it down by about 1/2 inch. I didn't measure it, but by about 1/2 inch. And the reason I've done it like that is because we need our initial strip to be wider than one piece. So I'm going to slide those to one side. They're a bit sticky, but never mind. That's because it's hot in here. And I'll show you what I've already done. Yeah, everything's sticking to each other. Never mind. We'll carry on anyway. So I've stuck mine together, and to disguise, well, one of the reasons I've done the stamping is to disguise the join, which is actually there. And you actually need this to be 14.5 inches wide, which is why we had to stick 2 pieces together. So what I did, I put mine 2 together, measured up to 14.5 inches with my ruler, and then cut it to size. And you will need, actually, if we turn that bit around, it'll be easier to see the flap. It doesn't matter what. This is the glue flap. You don't have to have it on any particular side. It's just easier if you have it on that side. So we're going to score it at 3.5, at 7, and at 10.5, and at 14. So you've got 1/2 inch gap left. And we are going to use the runner tape again. And this time we are going to pop that down that side. Now, if this one runs out, I have got another one on standby. So we're going to, and I think it's going to, but that's okay. We possibly won't need that anymore. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to fold that over like that, so that the glue flap or the tape flap, you can use double-sided tape for this if you wish. You can even use glue. I've just used tape because it's quicker and cleaner. So I'm going to put that on the inside like that, and so it will stand up pretty much like that. But of course, being a lantern, we need a base. You actually need 2 bases for this, because there is a project in the book which we put, or the designers put a tea light candle in, obviously a battery operated one. But I'm not going to do that. No, we're going to use string lights. So I'm going to show you how I figured out a way that I'm hoping it will work. Let's put it that way. So if all else fails, we can cheat and do it a different way. But I'm hoping it'll work this way. So I'm going to set that to one side for a moment. I'll just put it there. And you will need 2 pieces that measure 5.5 by 5.5. And you need to score them at 1 inch on all 4 sides, which I've already done. And you need to make your tabs. Now, I've already cut the tabs on one side because you do this exactly the same on all 4 tabs. So what we do is we cut down to the score line like that. And then all we do is you just make a little notch. You don't have to make a little notch, but it's a good idea if you do, because it will take away the bulk. If you don't make a notch, sometimes when you put it together, if you leave it flush, it can be a bit bulky. And we don't want this to be bulky. We want it to stay flat. And I am going to use a red runner tape again. And so we're going to turn it over, and we're going to fold and burnish all of our score lines first. Now, this won't take long. And we're going to very quickly go around all of these, and we're going to fold in the tabs as well, because it will help this go together. And then what we do, fold in the tabs like that. If you want to use glue, you can use glue, but for the purposes of the video, to make it go faster, I'm going to use my red line tape or red runner tape. You can use red line tape if you wish, but normally I probably use glue, but in the interest of time, I will use tape because it's instant. And this is going to bother me, so I'm going to shove it out the way for a minute. I'll bring it back when we need it. And so we'll just stick that to there like that. Just make sure that those corners are flush like that. So we'll just spin that round like that, or turn it round like that. And we'll quickly do the other two tabs like this. And I think that has just about run out, but never mind. We managed, and we're going to lift that up, make sure the corner is flush, and do the same with that one. Just get the debris out the way, and you make another one. Oh, that corner didn't stick well, never mind. That's the beauty of using tape. If it doesn't quite go right, you can just reposition it. And make another one in exactly the same way. So you've got two like that. There's a reason you need two. And what we're going to do, we're going to actually, by the time we're finished, what we're going to do, we're going to glue them back to back like that. But now, do we do that first? Yeah, let's do that first, actually. I don't know whether that's the best way of doing it, but we're going to do it anyway. So actually, do you know what? It might be best if we glue it first. So again, in the interest of time, I'm going to use tape because I need this to stick fast, but normally I would use glue. You could use a construction weight glue for this, which is what I would normally use. In fact, I've got it out ready. But in the interest of time, so that this video is not long, because I don't want to have to wait for the glue to dry, I'm going to use this. But that's all right. So we're going to stick it one facing up and one facing down, like that. And so we stick it. It doesn't matter if you use tape, because this red line tape or red runner tape is very strong. So give it a good push. And the reason we need it flat first, because what we're going to do now is we're going to pierce a hole right through both pieces. Now, you can use a pair of scissors if you want. You can use your pokey tool or an embossing tool or piercing tool. You can use a screwdriver. You can use whatever you've got available. But if you're going to use small scissors, I'll give you a tip. Push the scissors in and then turn it like that, because that will give you a decent enough hole. And if you think you need the hole a bit bigger, push the scissors in a bit further and turn again. And that will give us, hopefully, a big enough hole for what we're going to need it for later. So let's get on with putting this bit together. Now this is where we need this bit again. And oh, incidentally, I should have told you, I do apologise. These stamps came from the stamp set in the box, and I used that one there, that little one there, and I stamped that all over my vellum or parchment. And the only reason I've used red, this wasn't in the box, this was in my stash. I needed a strong cardstock because I needed this to be firm, and this is a 220 GSM, so I needed it nice and strong. Now, the next thing we're going to need is to get everything else out the way and hopefully stop everything else floating off as well. And I'm going to use some tacky glue for this. Now, the best way of doing tacky glue, don't try and do it from the bottle because you'll get glue everywhere. I've decanted mine into a little pot. And this is an old tiramisu pot. Very nice it was too. So if you want an excuse to eat something naughty, just convince yourself you need it to put glue in when you're crafting. So this was a tub of 2 tiramisus, very nice they were too, and we have them for pudding. So I just kept my pots to put glue in, or paint, or beads, so they're very good. So we're not just eating them because we like them, we need the pots for practical reasons. Well, that's my excuse and I'm sticking to it. So I'm just going to pop that over there because I can see what's going to happen. And I would suggest that you paint it on rather than try and squeeze it in. It's a lot easier if we just use a brush and paint it round the outside. This is an old paintbrush, a very old paintbrush. It wasn't old originally, it was one of my good ones. But unfortunately, I used it, well, not unfortunately, but I used it for acrylic. I used it to add white acrylic to a painting and forgot to wash it out, and it got a bit stuck up. But I have managed to free some of it, so now I just use it for things like glue and any other acrylic projects I do. I don't use acrylic very much, but yes, acrylics, painting and I don't really get on very well. We're not the best of friends. I prefer watercolour. But there you go. That's just me. So we are going to give that a good coating on all 4 sides. Try and make it come up to the sides. And because it's so hot today, it's drying quite fast, which is what I didn't want it to do. But never mind, we'll cope. So all around these sides like that. So I'm not going to put any more on before it has a chance to dry again. What we're going to do now, actually what I am going to do is put the glue out the way. It doesn't matter which way up you put this because they're both exactly the same. And what we're going to do, we're going to slide that in there like that. So that should go. It's a bit fiddly because vellum is rather flimsy. It can be a bit fiddly. Oh no, it went quite nicely. Now the best thing to do is lay it down and then one at a time, just put your hand inside like that and just press it down, press it into the side. So we're going to rotate it like that and press it into the side like that. Oh, it's going quite well, isn't it? So we're going to once more turn it round and press it in. So we've got the basics of our lantern quite nicely. Oh, quite pleased with that. Now, the reason we've done, now I'm going to show you the reason why we put two like that and we put a hole in, because what we're going to do, I have got a string of lights here, battery operated lights. I have put the batteries in and I've checked that I've put the things the right way around. Because when I did this for a practice, I thought, why doesn't this work? It's because I put the battery, or one of the batteries, in the wrong way around. So always check you've got the batteries in the right way around. What we're going to do for this, I'm going to, actually, well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn it upside down. And I've used this hole, or made this hole, and we're going to feed the light through there. So I'm just going to keep feeding it through. It will come out the top, but don't worry about that. We'll work on the other end later. Well, once we finish this end. So we'll just get the things through first. So we're just going to pop these, keep feeding these through this hole. It does take a bit of a time because they're long. Actually, I'm not going to because I want all the light I can get. But if you feel you've had enough, or you're doing this for a particular project, you can cut these lights to size. But, which I'll, oh, sorry about that folks. I've just managed to knock my camera. I didn't knock it over, I just knocked it. But if I put it to the side, now these are wire lights, so they do, actually now it's got that way, perhaps I can pull it through. Might be a bit quicker. So I'll show you what we're going to do with the other bits in a minute. So we're nearly there. I think we're nearly there anyway. So if I just gently pull, that seems to be coming through quite nicely now. There's just the thick cord that might need a bit of a shove. There we go. And so if I just pull on that, that should come up quite nicely. And on the back of this, I have got some foam tape. Now normally I would use hot glue. In fact, I might use hot glue a bit later on, but this is quite strong stuff. And so it should sit quite nicely. And then what I would suggest is put your battery case over to one side, because it'll leave room to get into where you have to turn it on. So now what we're going to do, we're going to turn it around the other way. And we're nearly done actually, we haven't got too much more to do. We're going to put the lights, oh sorry, I've done it again. It's very difficult to do it so that you can see and not knock the camera. Maybe I need to put my camera stand a bit higher. Now because these are wire, they won't stay where you put them, they're all going to just pop straight back out again. But we are going to just feed this in like this. So we'll get there in the end. So we're going to feed this in like that. I'll try not to knock the camera anymore, I promise guys. And you can leave it like that if you want to. If you think you need to just tape that to one side to stop it coming out, I might do that actually. I'm just going to grab a little bit of scotch tape or sticky tape or sellotape or whatever you like to call it. It won't show. And I'm just going to tape that like that to the inside, just so that it can't spring out. Now, wait for it guys, hopefully this will be worth the wait. So when we turn it over, I should have used hot glue, I will next time. So what you do is if you've put your battery pack where you can find access for lights, turn it on, stand it up. Actually, if I put it down like that, or turn it away from the joint, you have got a beautiful lantern like that. So if I sort of rock it on its side, you can see it better. It's a bit difficult because my camera is above where I'm working. But there we go, I'm sure you've got the idea. So if I stand it up like that, you can see the lights. If I lay it down, you can see the effect through the vellum. And then if I turn it over once more, you've got the switch there, and all you've got to do is switch it off. But I'm going to leave it on because I think that's beautiful. I'm rather pleased with that. So there is our lantern made with vellum paper, a stamp from the box, and a few accessories that we've got in our stash. So we can use this beautiful set to complement what we've already got at home. So that's wonderful. We can stretch our stash and make even more things. And this doesn't have to be for Christmas. It can be for any reason, any season. So you can keep it at home, you can give it as a gift, you can do what you like with it. So I hope you've enjoyed this project. I do hope you have a go. It's not too difficult. This was my first go and I didn't have much of a problem with it. So hopefully, if I can do it, anybody can, trust me. So there we go. There is our lantern from the second project from PAPERCRAFT Society Box 36. And when you come back on Friday, my third project from this series will be on Friday, and we will be using the little flower, or the flower that we made from the die that we made on Monday. The card that we made on Monday, I'm going to be using the flower that we made. So I hope you can come back and find out what I get up to then. And in the meantime, thank you so much for watching. I do hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. And I will see you Friday. And in the meantime, enjoy the rest of the week. Stay safe, everybody. Have fun. And as always, happy crafting. Bye-bye for now.